everybody, and welcome back to another game review on Story Theory. Today we're talking about Man of Medan. Medan? I don't really know. So this is a game from Supermassive Games, part of the first part of the Dark Pictures anthology series that they started. So this is a follow-up to one of the most popular games, I guess one of the most popular storytelling games of all time, Until Dawn, which I'm also have a review on, so you can check that out. And the Dark Anthology Pictures, or the Dark Pictures Anthology, excuse me, they have, I think they're slated for 7 or 9 games at this point. Man of Medan is the first one. And I actually played this game with one of my best friends, Cody. So it can be a single player game, and basically it's like one of those old Goosebumps books, right? Where you can say, hey, I can go to page 38 to go do this, or page 42 to go do this. But it's actually a flowchart style game, similar to Detroit Become Human, but not nearly as expansive. It's definitely a faster game, like it's not nearly as long. So if we get into it and our overall scoring here, I'm going to start out the narrative. I thought the narrative was a 9 out of 10. I thought it gave a very good storyline. At the beginning, you're kind of these two soldiers and you pick them, but then that really doesn't matter in the long term, and you kind of get with this other group of survivors that start out on a boat, and then they find this big ship and blah 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 blah. Regardless, I thought the narrative was pretty well done. The very ending is kind of where a lot of it fell apart, at least for Cody and I. I unfortunately killed Conrad. Cody being very upset about that. But it was still a very good narrative. The gameplay I gave an 8 out of 10. So some of those decisions that you have to make, like split-second decisions on, are pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty quick even for me to like be able to hit the button on the one that I wanted right away. And unfortunately, that's how I ended up killing Conrad. So gameplay I gave an 8 out of 10. The audio I gave a 10 out of 10. I really thought the jump scares were pretty well placed. I thought the jump scares weren't as predictable as you kind of think they're going to be whenever you start out playing a horror game. And I think the voice actors did a very, very good job. They nailed their parts. They got kind of the scared vibe that you want in kind of a video game, because I feel like that's super hard to do, especially as a voice actor for a video game, is to have that sense of urgency, maybe, or sense of fear in your voice whenever you're doing these. Then let's get into value here. I gave value a 7 out of 10 because there's no DLC for this. I guess there's no DLC because it's the first one in the series. So it's only I think it was $30, $30 or $40, or I got the whole bundle because you can buy them all together. Now the ones that have come out for pretty cheap on Steam, especially if you get it on a sale. So I think they end up being like $10 each or something like that. But I think the overall value of the game was pretty good. It's pretty short, and there's not a ton of replayability because there can be different endings to the game. So I think that's where it shines, and you could go back through and play that, but you're going to have the same decisions, and you're going to know which ones you made. So you're like, instead of doing A this time, I'm going to do B and see what happens after that. So you could see all the differences, all the different decisions that you can make in the flowchart to see what gets you to a different ending, or characters living or characters dying, or how it goes. But I did not replay it. We only played it the one time, and that's probably all I'm going to play it. But I think for the value is 7 out of 10. Now, technical and social, I'm going to pair up here because I gave them both a 6 out of 10, and they kind of link back to back. I do love that it has a social aspect of it. Playing it with Cody and playing it with your friends over Xbox Live is super cool and a really awesome feature to the game. I don't know if playing on the couch co-op would be better or worse, because you're handing the controller to your friends and then they're making a decision, so it's kind of based on like either their reaction speed or your reaction speed on how you play the characters. But I think the way that Cody and I did it was good. However, getting into a game was super difficult. For some reason, we couldn't like find each other's games. We couldn't ready up, and then we kept getting kicked back to the main screen. Like every time, I think every time we stopped or every time we paused, it would kick us back to the main screen, and then we'd have to go back in and kick us back out and go back in. And so that's why I'm putting technical and social both at 6 out of 10. I love the social aspect of it, but it definitely needed, I guess, a little bit more work to make more fluid. And I haven't tried to play the next games, House of Ashes. I can't remember the titles of all the other ones that came out after that. Let me see here. Little Hope. I have not tried to play those with anybody else or with Cody again, just because we haven't had time, and so maybe the multiplayer has gotten better. But overall, 6 out of 10 for both of those. Graphics, I gave an 8 out of 10. It has a very unique art style to the game, which I really like. It kind of reminds me of like almost Polar Express-ish, but like dialed back a little bit, because Polar Express was getting like super close to the Uncanny Valley, and I feel like this dials it back, but it has a really good art style that I enjoy. So overall, Man of Medan, I gave an 8.3 out of 10. I think it was a really well done horror game, and I love horror games. I love these type of flowchart, make a decision type games that lead you to different endings, and my whole goal the whole time is to get everybody back alive. Unfortunately, in this time, I killed Cody's favorite character, and I feel bad about that still. So, if you guys want to watch the Let's Play, or you already watched the Let's Play, it's in the playlist below. I am going to be playing the rest of them, Little Hope, House of Ashes, and all the rest of the Dark Pictures Anthology series. So if you are enjoying those horror games, please give me a like on those so I can know and keep the content coming.